Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to PBTV. I'm Stu, and today we are going to look at the absolutely incredible and brand new KWA T10 SBR. Absolutely stunning bit of kit. Absolutely love it. I've played with a couple of these. Mates have run them, all that kind of stuff, and just being able to get these on a field is absolutely awesome. So it's also known as the RM4 Ronin, so very similar to the Ronin series that have been out before, but obviously, as you can tell, it's got the standard 5.56 mag rather than the 9mm. So if the 9mm sort of platform isn't to your liking, then stick around, ask some questions, see if this is more up your street. And it is also the 3.0 AEG, so this is the recoil variant. So this thing has an absolute ton of features. We'll try and get through them all. But as always, if you've got some questions, drop them down below. We'll flash them up on the screen because 9 times out of 10 someone else wants to ask it and doesn't anyway. So if you drop it down below. We'll answer your question as soon as we see it. But as always, we'll start at the front and work our way back. And always with KWA and all the other QRF and Ronin platforms, we've got a 14mm counterclockwise thread on the front for all your suppressors, tracers, and Gucci bits that you want to sit on the front. As standard with a lot of KWA now, you're getting the PTS accessories. So the flip-up iron sights, the grip, and the stock are all PTS. And with the flip-up PTS ones at the moment, they are completely toolless. There's no buttons, there's no bits and bats to adjust them. They can flip up naturally with an indent, and to zero them, it is just a winding wheel. So yeah, elevation windage can just be done on the fly. Not massively effective in airsoft, but it's a good little trait matching its real steel counterparts. A very commonly seen front rail now with the QRFs and the Ronins is the KWA TML style rail, and this is the 11. So you've got M-lock on the left, right, and bottom. 20mm riz across the top, and a small section of 20mm riz at the front for a drop-down laser torch or anything like that. You can add any rails to the bottom if you want in grips, and obviously you do get in the box 2 sections of rail that you can add to any side to the bottom if you've not got any M-lock straight M-lock parts. Oh, we've got questions off YouTube. Flynn, would this be good as a starter to airsoft? Absolutely. If this is in your budget, it is an absolute monster of a platform. KWA build quality is just where it's at. This thing is absolutely rock solid. They know how to build stuff, and they do build it very, very well. The options that you get from this and the longevity you're going to get out of it is you're going to have a lot of fun with it. You're going to enjoy it, and rather than buying multiple different platforms, you can just grab this one. It's awesome. But as I was saying, you get the 2 little riz rails that you can stick on there if you wanted to put a torch, laser, grip, or anything like that on there. And across the top, you've got the 20mm rail going all the way down for your pec boxes, optics, short dots. Absolutely anything can sit on this thing, and it's absolutely awesome. They have done a little bit of weight saving on the top rail, so they've cut some slots out of here with the front being CNC'd alley. It's strong enough to have a little bit more weight taken out of it and still be a strong platform on the front and not get beaten too much when you throw this thing around a woodland or a CQB site. Coming back to the receiver is full metal apart from a few parts on it. So the mock bolt cover, the trigger guard, and a few other bits are plastic. And obviously with the butterfly style charging handle back here. So the charging handle is ambidextrous, so you can grab it from either side and it does unlock, and when you do unlock it, it opens the bolt carry handle. The mock bolt doesn't hold back by itself, but if you do physically press the bolt hold open, it will hold open, so you can adjust the rotary hop that you will find in there. So again, rotary hops are just becoming very, very standard. Nick Kronos, does it take normal mags? Good question. So the mag on this one is the KWA style, so you can see it's got the extended follower. So this is a 120 round mid cap that comes with it. Any standard AEG M4 mag will fit and feed perfectly fine in this. What's really good, what KWA have done really, really well, and what I think is a massive standout point for them, is their mags come in packs of 3. So you're not having to buy loads of individual mags and everything like that. You can just buy a box, and then the mag that comes with it, and that box, you've got 4 mags already, and that is plenty to start skirmishing, start running around a field, and have loads of fun. But if that's not in your budget, you can get a high cap, buy a high cap, something cheap, throw it in, and this will run and gun exactly the same. The one point that I will notice that's different from the T10 to other KWA platforms like the Centurion or other ERGs is this one does not have bolt stop. So this does not stop firing when the magazine is empty. It is just the recoil system that they have added. So Henry Miles on Facebook. What's the FPS? So I chronoed this just before going live, and this model itself is just doing just under 340 FPS, so about 338, 339, knocking over to maybe 342 every now and again with a couple of shots, without any hop applied. With a 7.4 LiPo, it's rocking in at about 12 rounds a second as well. It can... good question. Can it take 11.1? Just about to knock on that. So I chronoed this and rate of fire tested it on a 7.4. We only recommend 7.4 and 9.6 NIM for these. KWA themselves do recommend that these can take 11.1. That is for the American market because they're allowed higher power FPS and dual limits, so you're not going to get any pre-engagement or problems inside the gearbox. If you ran 11.1 on our power limits, you get what's called pre-engagement, and you can damage your piston and you damage your gears. So we do not recommend it, and we can't warranty it, unfortunately. So stick to your 11.1, stick to your 9.6s. You can have loads of fun. You're still doing 12 rounds a second. You're still beating your own shoulder with the recoil system. It's absolutely awesome, and it's a lot of fun. So other controls apart from the hop, we do have ambidextrous fire selector. You will notice if you saw both sides that the fire selector on this side is a little bit shorter, obviously with it being ambidextrous, but it is slightly biased to a right-handed shooter. Is that when that's dropped down, it's designed not to interfere with your trigger finger too much. If it was a little bit longer, you'd have to be slightly reaching around it, and it might change your configuration as shooting. You've got mag release on the right hand side and the bolt hold open on this side that you do have to press to hold the bolt open. It doesn't do it automatically, so you pull that back, press the bolt hold open, and it holds open. Adjust your hop, fire a few rounds, adjust your hop, and then close it, and you can even do your dust cover up. As I was saying with the mags as well, these are polymer mags, so they're going to last. They're going to take a hell of a beating. They are really good, and they do have the dot matrix system in the bottom. You might not be able to see that very well, but there's a load of dots. You'll find these on a lot of P-mags nowadays, and the design of that is you can get your paper pens, and it's almost like a calculator-style grid, so you can put numbers in it. You can put your call sign or anything like that, but they're designed to be numbered, so you can see which mags you've used and which you haven't, and it's just an identification system. Whether or not it's just ID them as yours, or if you want to number your mags so you know which order you're going to be using them in, all good stuff. Coming back, the PTS grip, everyone loves this thing. It's super comfy, super grippy. It's really good and super robust with it being the plastic that it is. Niall on Facebook, sorry to hijack with the unrelated question. Are you guys open to the public yet? Unfortunately, no. Our plan at the moment is as long as there are any COVID restrictions in, unfortunately, we're not going to reopen the shop. It's 100% online. We've moved all the stock away from the shop, so it's all down the warehouse now. We've had a few people turn up the shop and been a little bit upset that we've had to turn them away, but there's nothing here anymore. So just buy online. If you've got any questions about it, we're more than happy to take emails, take questions on Instagram, anything like that. Just drop us a message and we'll answer any questions that you have. I know some people like to touch and feel stuff and test them before they have a look at it. The problem is, as soon as we get loads of people in having to do that, we've got to do so much cleaning, and we don't feel like we can keep the shop a safe environment with the current restrictions in place. So we just kept everything online for the moment. But rolling back from the grip up to the sling plate, we have a 2-point sling plate at the back, so you can mount this left and right hand side, and you do have a QD sling point on the stock as well, as long as a loop point as well. So you've got loads of sling options, sling points on here for every different type, whether or not it's hook, loop, or QD. PTS stock, always been a staple favourite between airsofters recently, and the reason why they've had to put such a big one in here is this: most of this stock is taken up by the recoil system. So they've chosen this one so that you can have you've got two battery compartments in here, so you can run a crane stock, you can run a thin lipo. There is still tons and tons of battery space in this because it's got the recoil system in it. Don't think that you're going to struggle fitting batteries in here. There is tons and tons of space in it. If you've got a nunchuck 9.6 NIM or a decent size 13-1400 lipo, there's plenty that are going to fit, and it's easy enough to get to by just pressing the two fins, and that comes off. You find your Tamiya connector and your fuse in there. Easy enough to click back on, just join that, and drops in, good to go, and you can collapse that to the point that you need to run it at, and we're ready to go. Martin Cinderwood on YouTube. Any compatibility high capacity magazines for those, or is it just for those with itchy trigger fingers? Any of them, any standard M4 high cap will work with these, whether or not it be New Pro, Battle Axe, anything like that. You could probably throw a box mag in this and it will run. You could get yourself an electric box mag, stick it in there, not bother with the mid cap, and just run 2,000 rounds through this in a box mag. You're going to have a hell of a lot of fun, and you're probably going to have a hell of a warm motor as well. But it will run it. It's KWA. As long as you stick into that 7.4 or 9.6, it's going to run all day long, and it's going to run basically forever. They are absolutely awesome if treated correctly. Trixie Houghton on YouTube. What range of other would you compare this to? Good question. I mean, KWA is hard to compare to another brand, but because it's recoil, you've got to partner it with TM, the NGRS system. The massive difference between this and the TM is I've always described the TM as a short, sharp snap of a recoil. This is a heavy punch of a recoil. It's a heavier weight. It rattles more, and it's. I'd say the recoil system in this is a much better experience and much more fun. But out of the box, you're probably going to have a better experience and a better gameplay with this. You might get slightly similar ranges, but you've got the better FPS, you've got an amazing build quality, and you don't have to chase what people think the TM is at the moment and spend all that money on it. But comparably, you've got to sit these next to each other because they are the recoil systems. Obviously, this one doesn't have the bolt stop. If that is something you're looking for, look at the CT10, I think it's called, the Centurion Arms, the ERG systems. They have a similar gearbox to this, but they also have a switch on the magazines that allows bolt stop as well. The limitation on this is obviously there's only a couple of different versions of it. So you've got an M4, you've got an M4 in the ERG, and then you've got the 9mm style system in the Ronin system. And that's probably why they've not done the bolt lock, because it's the same gearbox that's in the Ronins, and they don't have to manufacture extra bits. So if you're wanting bolt stop and you're wanting longevity, look at the TM. If not, look at this. Kronos Airsoft. Can you easily change out parts like the rail and stock? Absolutely. So the stock will slide off, and you've got your standard stock tube on here. So any stock that will fit onto an AEG stock tube will fit. You've just got to be very, very aware of your limitations with battery space. So something like a CTR or a Battle Axe or a Battle Link stock isn't going to do you very well, because you're going to be very, very limited. Unless you run your stock fully out, you're still only going to fit an extremely small battery in there because of the cabling. So you are going to have to stick to something that is crane stock-esque and have battery compartments on it. I'd have to check whether or not you could front wire these. I believe you could, and then run a PEC box if you wanted to, but then you still need the stock for the recoil system. Because the actual cabling comes through the bottom here. It doesn't actually come through the stock tube. The cabling comes through the bottom, through the guide for the stock, and comes out the back, so that all the recoil system is in here. As for rails, yes, absolutely. It's the same as any other M4 platform. You can drop the front rail off here and throw something else on there if it's what you prefer. I do really like, and the sort of TML style rail that they've done with this. Super neat, super light, really, really comfortable in a firing position, and it's got all the space and for all your accessories and parts. But as an entire platform, this thing does tick a lot of my boxes with look, feel, weight, build, compatibility, the mags, the recoil, everything. It's it's everything that you want without having to add anything extra, even internally. So the gearbox and everything, and the gears, they've got heat-treated gears in here. They've done a really good job with the reinforcing the gearbox and making sure it can withstand that recoil as well. I know there's a few old wives' tale about certain brands of recoil shaking themselves to parts and falling to pieces and this and the other. KWA have addressed everything, and these things run. The only times that we have problems with these is people sitting in our power limits under that 350 and running 11.1s on them. You either destroy your piston or destroy your gears. Normally the piston, we get them back, and then we have to boneyard them, unfortunately. But if you stick to the sort of recommended batteries, these things are a lot of fun. Super fun on outdoors, indoors, absolutely everything. The trigger response is awesome. The range is awesome from when I've played outdoors with them. Depending on the weight of your BB, that's going to change. If you're running 2.5s, 2.8s, depending on your hop, it's a lot of fun. Darren on Facebook. Lovely, had great fun at Driverwood Airsoft with it over the weekend. Yeah, all the KWA stuff at the moment is it's just built so well. It's the tolerances of how they're putting these things together it's the QC is really on point when it comes down to your GBB pistols, or all the way up to the QRFs, your ERGs, and your bigger platforms like this. And a big plus point to me is how easily you can get hold of mags. You're not having to buy loads of individuals and spend loads of money. You can just buy a box and you're good to go. We got a problem on YouTube. What weights can this hop? From experience, I don't know what you could max hop. You could probably try some heavyweights in this if you were ever wanting to run this as a DMR and up the power to maybe 400 FPS or something like that, and lock it to single. You could probably run 3s, 3.2s in this without a problem. Changing the hop rubber, you could probably run a bit further than that. But I wouldn't change anything else. The barrel in this is fine. The gearbox in this is fine. The only downside it has is that our power limits. But I'd say with this, it would comfortably lift, and probably you're going to get your pinnacle range and drop off at around the 2.8 mark. So 2.8 BBs would be really good in this. 2.5 tracers I've used really effectively indoors, purely because you're not after that overall range, you're just after that speed to target is a lot better. But yeah, if you wanted to creep to 3s, I think you'd probably enjoy it, but I think you'd lose that overall range, but you'd get a nice flat, fast trajectory. It'd be really nice. It's going to wear out faster, but if you're going to enjoy it, you're going to enjoy it, and that's how you want to play. But highly recommend 2.8s. It's my favourite weight, so that's why I'd run them. But if there's no other questions, if you want to drop any quick questions in, please do it now. I'll just do a quick overview of what we've touched. But if you want to drop any final questions in, please do. But this is the KWA T10 SBR 3.0 AEG, which means it has the recoil system. You've got the standard 40mm counterclockwise threaded front end. You've got the 11-inch KWA M-LOK rail system with some weight saving on the top and M-LOK all over it to fit your parts, which means that you have two short rail sections inside the box, so you can fit your torches, grips and lasers and everything, and you've got 20mm rail all across the top for pec boxes, lights, optics, all the Gucci parts that you want to stick on there. It does come with the PTS flip-up sights that are completely toolless once they're on for flipping up and adjusting. It comes with a 120 round PMag that has the extended feeder, so you do get every single BB out of your mag into the hop. Speaking of which, the hop behind the mock bolt cover there is a rotary style hop, so once it is set, it is really nice and secure and won't adjust as you're rattling rounds down range. Ambidextrous fire selector, but then sort of right-hand biased other controls with the mag release and the bolt stop. Bolt hold open, you do have to hold it up and then press it. It is not an automatic hold open, so it is manual. Come back to the another PTS part, so the grip and the stock. That is a crane style stock because you have to accommodate battery space for the recoil system in the tube. It needs to be a crane style battery or a stick LiPo in there. With batteries again, can't reiterate this enough, 7.4 or 9.6 only. Because of our power limits, don't go up to the 11.1. You're going to get pre-engagement and you're going to damage this internally, and we don't want that. But if that is everything, We've covered loads of questions. It's great speaking to you as always. We'll end it there. This has been the KWA T10 SBR, and always we'll be back tomorrow about 4 p.m. As always, come join us, come join the chat. It's great to speak to you all the time. Until then, see you in a bit. Goodbye.